That was another vivid memory I have about your stuff is, we start the year like really highly ranked, very much anticipated to be in the hunt, and
Clay County or Lineville.
Yep, and Clay and go down to Lineville and get spanked.
Oh God, we went down there one night, and I don't know if you remember when Keith Howard died in Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Well, Keith had already talked me in, and we're going to do the field. When we got our new field, we're going to open it up. I need you to play on Thursday night. Well, that was going to be week 2. I said, I've already got to play Steve Giddens in Lineville on Thursday night, week 1. Because, Giddens talked me into it. He said, Coach, it's supposed to rain like crazy tomorrow night. I don't want to ruin my field. Can we play on Thursday night? I said, okay, I will, because I got to do it the next week too. It rained 2 inches that night at Lineville on Thursday. It rained 2 inches, and Lord have mercy, they beat us into submission that night. I told my quarterback.
It was ugly. I do remember that.
Oh, yes, and I told my quarterback he transferred in, and he'd been in 2A ball all that life. And I said, welcome to 4A football. Yeah. You just got beat. But every year we played Lineville or Clay County, you knew if you could compete with them, that you could compete with anybody else in your region. Their kids knew how to play both ways. Some people don't.
All right, for somebody who's been around the game forever, what's good about it right now and what's bad about it right now?
I think kids are bigger, faster, and stronger than they've ever been. I think that nutrition and all the things they can do, they got their personal trainers and stuff. I think those kids are better. I think the game the speed of the game is a lot faster, and I think a lot of that is people are using their speed, so you see it more. The game's more wide open. It's all spread out. But I do not like the constant movement of players. I understand when a parent says, I'm doing this for the best of my kid. That last week, 2 weeks ago, when the kid leaves Spain Park.
Right.
And I heard somebody say, well, this kid did the right thing. His family's doing the right thing for him to get him more exposure. How many more offers do you need? He's got 28 Power 5 offers. He's a 4.5 star. Let's put it that way. How much more does he need? It's one thing if you're on one side of the state and your parents get a job and you move. That's a different thing. But when you move 10 minutes and you're going to play Hoover twice, I can't get that. And I also know, because I've studied it in our radio show we did, I knew when NIL, I did a special on it, and I knew when Tennessee voted in, I said, Georgia's next. And they voted in October. We won't have a choice. We will have to go to high school NIL. I do not like that. And it's when it happens, what you'll see when our state votes on it, and we'll vote it once some guy from a Thompson or a Hoover or somebody like that crosses the state line. And don't think it don't happen. Look at Buford's quarterback. He comes from Texas. Why is he there? Because Kirby Smart said, I need you closer. So they already had a 3-star quarterback. He sits on the bench now because the best quarterback in the country is there.
As far as high school NIL in Alabama, when do you think that happens? Could it be next year?
No, I think it'll be within 4 years. Something's big got to happen. Somebody's got to make a transfer to make it happen. And when it happens, it'll be the state has to do it. It'll be legislators and congressmen. And some congressmen will be in a town like Thompson or somewhere, and they've lost the players. Wait a minute, we got to bring this forward. It passes. But I think what you'll see that'll go along with it will be open enrollment. And then everybody will go wherever they want.
What's that going to do to the smaller schools?
Tear them up.
I mean, basically all the cream is going to rise to the top.
Yeah, and we'll still have. I mean, there'll still be games. It's not going to be gone. It just will be if someone has a great player. I mean, they may be able to take them out. Move them somewhere. But it's not going to be everybody. I just don't like the thought process of it. I mean, it's still something about. Aren't you, when you play high school football, you're there to learn and to learn the values of hard work and dedication and being a part of your team. And, of course, the average fan will say, well, your coaches can move whenever you want to. I spent 21 years as a head coach and never left. I find this got physically sick and retired. But I just think it's not the right way for us to be going, because it's not, paying. I'm not even going to mention it, but that quarterback in Carrollton, Georgia is making a lot of money now to be a high school quarterback in the 10th grade.
You want to talk about Gulf Shores a minute? What's going to happen?
What? Who?
it's been all over the news. Investigative reports, TV station down in Mobile got all over them. Said the AHSAA was coming in to investigate. To me, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
No. They investigate every day.
If it's true, I don't like it, but I'm smart enough to know that that's not the only place that it's going on.
It's easy for people to say that private schools do all the recruiting. They're not.
No, exactly.
It goes on. Some type of recruiting goes on everywhere, and a lot of times if a program just does everything they can to make their program good, it recruits itself a lot of times.
Right.
And I think sometimes people want to get there so fast that they're tempted to maybe use people in the community to get kids there. But you still got to be able to, the burden of proof is on you to prove that somebody within that school system forced those kids, or didn't force them, got them there.
Enticed them.
Brought
them in.
However you want to say that. Yeah.
Enticed them.
And I don't like it, but things move in. I mean, I have had kids move in, and and it was good for us, and I've had kids move out, and it hurt us. So I've seen both sides. I mean, it has. It helped us.
Well, I'm sure the clock's catching up with us, Coach. So let's talk playoffs real quick. Who you like in 7A?
Oh, there ain't but one. And it's not Auburn. It's not Thompson.
Yeah, and there's our local matchups projected at this point up on the screen.
Central Phoenix City. You want me to go ahead and say it?
Yeah.
That's who I would say. Yes.
Are they that much above Thompson at this point?
Well, I would say yes, but how many more is Thompson going to get in the next couple of weeks to get there?
I hear you.
It won't be the same. It'll be a great ball game. It always is.
Is 6A basically Saraland and Clay Chalkville?
Well, if you look at both of them, yeah. I mean, they both are just loaded with 4- and 5-star guys. They both got great coaching staffs. 6A probably is the one classification that has 7 or 8 teams that possibly could win it. Some of them, you got the cream of the crop, but then you got some that's rising up there to it. So I really like 6A in their classification. There's some really good football there.
That leads me to one question I'll get you to give us a quick answer on. In basketball, we talk a lot about how teams match up with one another.
Yes.
Okay. Is that true in football as well?
Very much so, where you have to go play. This is what is different now. Is when you get a team, especially when you start getting maybe in some of our lower classifications, there are some 1As and 2As and 3As out there that have turf fields and flashing lights and everything. All of a sudden your kid goes and plays on them, that is a completely different surface to play on. Or your kid plays on turf all the time. Then he goes and gets on natural grass. That is different for him to do. So, those are things in rain. You never know. Here's a big one is like these 4A schools right here. They're in the South. Take a team from Montgomery. Take a team from Mobile and have to come here in the playoffs, and it's 35 degrees. It's not 35 in Mobile.
No.
That is a big difference. We played when we played T.R. Miller that year, we played in Alexandria in 37 degrees. The next week it's 78 down in Bruton, Alabama. Well, we were sweating and used to, it's different. So, those matchups where you have to play at, that has a big deal. Who
do you like in 4A? Of course, 4A North, everybody says Cherokee County's in a class by themselves. I tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
But 4A South is, it's a crapshoot.
There's 5. There's 5 teams that's got a chance to win it. On any given night, there's 5 teams that have a chance to win it. They may be 2 that most people think, and I've seen them on film, but, Hanley's as good as anybody. Jacksonville's quarterback can give you a chance against anybody.
Yep. All world.
The thing with Jacksonville is, and they've got so much better on their offensive line. They had to replace all 5
everybody. Yep.
Coach Strain at Hanley, he didn't have to replace anybody. That's where his strength is at, is his offensive and defensive line. So Jackson is playing at a high level. Catholic proved last week that they're playing at a high level. Ask Andalusia and some of the teams they've played and what they've done to them. Catholics is there. Like I said, Jackson is just one of those years now because Jackson's got some players. If you can find the place, If you got to drive down, or if you can find it, you're going to see some good football players. 4A is going to be interesting to see in the South who's actually going to come out of it.
You know, I have said, Coach, that if Cherokee County does get there out of the North, their advantage is whoever they play is going to be so beat up.
Yes.
You know, to just have gotten there. But
you always got a chance in a game like that. You got a chance to get there. But some of those teams are playing, they have to play above their head every week just to get there. And I'm telling you, that's hard to do 5 weeks in a row.
Absolutely. All right, who you like in 3A?
Oh, I mean, it's there's about, again, I'm fixed to say this again, there's 4 down there on one highway. If you go 3A, you got to look in Montgomery and Mobile.
Right.
And see which private schools coming out of
It's in the South.
Yeah, and it's what private schools coming out of there. I think there's some very solid football teams in the North, probably more solid top to bottom in the North than they have been. There's some very good football teams in the North. But your skill players, very fast skill players and fast defensive players may be coming out of the South this time in 3A.
What about 2A? Are we looking at B.B. Comer and Fife again?
Fife, probably yes, just because they're so used to being there and got some great players, and Coach does a great job. But I'm going to tell you what, 2A South, you know, don't forget there's a team called Reeltown.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and they're good.
They're very good.
You know, and did you see the Highland home game last week? Mm-hmm. That score wasn't no blowout. So, you know, they could be back in it. So there's probably 2 or 3 teams that they're going to have to play. They got a gauntlet. And what's sad is Reeltown and Comer may have to play week 2.
Wow.
Week 2, and it's probably a semifinal type game, and they're going to have to play in week 2. That's what's sad when it comes to that. That's why I wish they did like they did in Georgia. We don't have a North Alabama champion, a South Alabama champion. They're probably fixing to shoot me right now, coaches are. But we need to just have the best 2 playing for a state championship.
God, I wish there was a way we could make that happen.
It can happen, but it's not going to happen this state.
I've preached it for years. I wished it could happen. Coach, we could talk football for 3 hours and never slow down. Thank you so much for finally making time for us. Glad to have you. Glad you could break bread with us, and we'll see you along the road to the playoffs.
Well, I appreciate what y'all do for high school football. I really do.
Thank you, sir. All right, for James Hardy, see you Thursday, my man.
You got it.
Coach Michael Short, Jim Jacobs bidding you a farewell and happy Halloween from Strutt's Wings in Oxford. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show. Good night, everybody.
For local and long-distance 24-hour towing or paint and body shop work at affordable prices, call David's Wrecker Service and Rayburn's Automotive in Jacksonville. You want excellent customer service? You always get quality workmanship. Plus, they're insured, licensed, and bonded. Here's the number, 256-435-7083. Located at 1116 Alexandria Road Southwest in Jacksonville. Steve Rayburn at David's Wrecker Service and Rayburn's Automotive wishes good luck to all our area teams.
A lot of people always wonder, how does your first-time buyers program work? Hey, I'm here to tell you that we do bad credit, good credit, even no credit at all. I even got down payments as low as $500, even got cards as low as $169 a month. So stop by, let's check it out. Let's see if we can get you approved today. Come by at 411 East Street North, Talladega, Alabama, 35160. Telephone number 205-332-7993. Let's come get you a bill deal.
Advantage Tire and Alignment on Highway 202 in Anniston is so much more than just a new tire and rim shop. There's not enough time in this ad to tell you all the many things they can do to help keep your car in tip-top shape. Advantage Tire uses ASE certified technicians, so you know any work done is top-notch. Bottom line, if it needs repaired or replaced, they can probably do the job and save you money. And when it comes time for new or used tires and rims, Advantage Tire and Alignment prices just can't be beat. Stop in and see Bruce and the crew today. Advantage Tire and Alignment.
year with a very young squad for Pleasant Valley that, as we mentioned, just 7 seniors that are being honored tonight as far as their final home. His roster, 7 sophomores, 13 freshmen, and an 8th grader, and asking Coach Nix as far as not only this year, but what the future looks like ahead for Pleasant Valley football. And he mentioned just a couple days ago, it looks very bright as far as the forecast for Pleasant Valley down the road. And certainly the next couple of years, if as far as the 13 freshmen and 7 sophomores can remain as far as Pleasant Valley with the football program, then there should be some very solid football. 4 overall, but a rock-solid 4-2 record in Class 2A Region 6. And on the opposite sideline, as far as first-year coach Ken Kofer's Weaver Bearcats, it's been really a near miss as far as they could have been in the playoffs themselves in Class 3As. They're 3-6 coming into today, 1-5 in region play, but they've had 3 losses so far this year that have been by a touchdown or less. In fact, a couple of those in region play against Beulah last week and then Dadeville in their region opener. Flip those 2 around, and they'd be the 3 seed out of Region 4. So really for Coach Ken Kofer's squad, it's just a few plays here, a few plays there, or this would be, at least record-wise on the surface, a totally different season for the Weaver Bearcats. And in talking with Coach Kofer, he takes a lot of the responsibility as far as their defense not being, at least to his standards, up to par so far this year, as Weaver coming in has given up nearly 30 points per game on defense, but on the flip side, they've scored almost 33 points per game themselves, led by one of the most talented players, at least when it comes to high school football in this part of Alabama, in Caden Gooden, who's just a junior but already has a scholarship offer. We'll see Gooden as far as a quarterback, maybe at a wide receiver, certainly on defense in the defensive backfield. So you're talking about one of the top athletes, not only in East Alabama, but really across the state of Alabama, and especially in the statewide scene that is definitely going on under the radar individually as far as the high school football scene in the Yellowhammer State. Should be a good matchup tonight, the regular season finale for both Weaver and for Pleasant Valley. And it was the region finale in a big game for both Moody and Southside. And Moody and especially Charlie Johnson played one of their best games of the season and one of their most important games of the season last week in our FNN Game of the Week.
Give up the middle. Osley stretches for the end zone, and he's in for the touchdown. Pressure coming, throws over the middle, and that is complete at midfield for the first down and more, as that is a huge play for Clay Chalkfield to keep that. They said that was shy of the first down, a fumble on the play, and Oxford says they have it. Rush comes, and that's blocked. So it'll be Oxford picking it up, and Clay Chalkville coming up with a huge special teams play. Throws toward the end zone and caught for the touchdown. Chambers now in at running back as he plunges up the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown. And Bakwe loads it up and throws down the field, and that's intercepted in the end zone. And made the throw over the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown for Nick Richardson. Play give to Wilson. Big running room and the first down and more as he advances forward all the way to about the 45-yard line. Play action for Mims. Under pressure, wrapped up and goes slammed down, in fact. Throw to the end zone for Richardson for the touchdown.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
It's game day, and from all of us at Bucks Island,
from the Loft Tackle Store,
from the team in service,
from the team in parts,
from the sales team,
from the Bucks Island family. Good luck and go get 'em, boys.
Treating our customers the way we want to be treated since 1948. BucksIsland.com or call 1-800-I'm-READY. Let our team help you win on the water.
That Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were paid $10 million in bribes.
The floodgates are literally open here.
Mike Rogers is standing up to crooked Joe Biden in D.C. Mike Rogers is our way of fighting back.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the FNN Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnn.bank. Member FDIC.
The Food Barn in Raglan offers the best in good old-fashioned hometown service when you're shopping for groceries, plus the latest ways to get great food specials your way. Click on RaglanFoodBarn.com. Follow the Food Barn on Facebook and listen to the River for weekly specials.
Where you can get everything you need from down on the farm and it won't cost you a leg or an arm.
And they're open 7 days a week. For the best cuts on quality meats, great service, and great prices, it's the Food Barn in Raglan.
Hello, I'm John Garlick, and I'm running for probate judge here in Calhoun County, and I'm asking for your vote. From accounting and finance to law enforcement and mental health, my education, training, and experience make me uniquely qualified to be your probate judge. Now, I've sworn an oath to
Our SNH Waterproofing and Construction Countdown to Kickoff rolls on here at Raiders Stadium at Pleasant Valley High School. James Hardy with you. Coach Eddie Bullock under the weather. We certainly wish him a speedy recovery. And also Bluefin Sushi and Japanese Grill present our FNN game of the week this week. And we have a lot of big ones because this is the final regular season week in the 2023 season. So let's bring in our very own Jim Jacobs, and we'll get a little bit of a head start as far as taking a look at games around our area of the state of Alabama on this final week of the regular season.
It is my pleasure to join you, sir.
And as always, we certainly love having you hop aboard, especially when it comes to our countdown to kickoff, because we've got a big one tonight. The final opportunity for Weaver to at least leave a good showing for the 2023 season, and really the final dress rehearsal for Pleasant Valley until they make their first playoff appearance since 2010.
Yeah, it's a big night here for Raiders Stadium, and, especially the seniors. I mean, you bear with this stuff year after year after year, and finally you get your shot. So congratulations to all the Pleasant Valley Raiders seniors. It's not a nice trip next week as they head to Pisgah, but hey, they're in, and that's what matters, right?
That's absolutely right. And when you take a look at the youthfulness of their roster, certainly will be a good learning experience for the program, no matter what happens next week, going over the next couple of years. So, obviously, Pleasant Valley, a big one tonight because it's senior night, and as we've mentioned, the final regular season week across the state of Alabama. So also their senior night for 7 seniors here on the 2023 roster. And as Jim mentioned, they'll have a huge postseason matchup at Pisgah for the first round of the Class 2A playoffs next week. And obviously for Weaver, because this is it for the 2023 season, they want to leave everything out on the field tonight as far as having one last good showing and put another win on the board before calling it a close for 2023.
All right, James, we've got about 9 big ones we need to get to, so let's not delay any longer. Childersburg at Winterboro tonight. A couple of rivals right there just a few miles from one another. Childersburg in the playoffs, Winterboro in the playoffs. What do you think?
I think this ought to be a very tight matchup, but I think I'm picking Childersburg in a close one. I think we're just about ready and are indeed for our national anthem.
And we will pause for that right now.
Our national anthem from Raiders Stadium as our countdown to kickoff, brought to you by SNH Waterproofing and Construction, continues as we take a look at some of the big ones around our area of the state this evening.
Let's see. Let's go to our next one. This is a battle of teams trying to find a win right here. Talladega and Sachs tonight at Jack Stewart Field there at Sachs High School. What do you think?
I think certainly one of those teams will be very happy just to get the season over successfully. And I think Sachs has actually been just on the cusp of getting a breakthrough win this season a couple of times. So I think I like Sachs to close out the season and set up next season in strong fashion.
Yeah, I kind of like the Wildcats in this one as well. All right, next up, this one's kind of interesting. Cleburne County and Welborn, both of them playoff teams, both of them meeting on the Hill tonight. Don't want to get banged up, James.
Yeah, especially if you're Walter, really for both of these teams, especially for Walter Welborn, as they'll face Flomaton next week in the first round of the Class 3A playoffs. And Welborn has had a great stretch of football the last now almost 2 months of the season after starting 0-2. And especially at the Hill, I like that momentum to continue into the postseason.
Yeah, give me Jeff Smith and the Panthers in that one as well. Next up tonight, another little interesting matchup. Steve Smith takes the Westbrook Christian Warriors on the road to Robertson Field at White Plains and takes on the Wildcats. White Plains, of course, not in the playoffs, and neither is Westbrook Christian, so this is the swan song for both programs.
That's right, and both teams looking to set up their 2024 seasons as far as getting a win to close out 2023. And I think this ought to be a good matchup for both of these teams, but I like the way that Blake Jennings
squad. The Wildcats, I'm going to go with Westbrook Christian and Steve Smith's passing attack, but don't be surprised if the Cats get this one tonight either. Next up, boy, this is an interesting game. We heard him talk about it on the Coaches Show Tuesday night. Central Clay County and Wetumpka this evening. Danny Horn not too thrilled about this Week 10 matchup. Says that Wetumpka has a great quarterback. Central Clay County, of course, working on an undefeated regular season.
Yeah, this has been one of the best seasons, maybe even one of the most enjoyable seasons that Coach Danny Horn has had. And as you know, Jim, he's had a lot of those enjoyable seasons. And even on the road, I think this is a good test for them, especially whenever they have to go on the road in the postseason. So I think Central Clay County will be ready to play and get out of there with the W.
Yeah, I like the Vols in this one as well. I'll go with Danny Horn and Clay County. All right, next up in our big ones, boy, this is any bigger than this. Oxford and Jacksonville, both teams headed to the playoffs, both teams hosting in week 1. Who do you like there, Mr. Play-by-Play voice?
I tell you what, if I was to do outstanding squads, good quarterbacks, Jim Ogle, obviously he'll be playing at Troy next year. I think this one will go right down to the wire. I think Oxford maybe have just a touch more depth, especially along the line of scrimmage. So I'm going to go
All
Oxford.
Right, let's go. I kind of like Oxford, too, just because of the depth on the sidelines, but Jacksonville will give them a great game. Here's an interesting matchup right here. Center Point at Leeds tonight. If Leeds has any hope of winning the region, they have to win this game. They need the point side after losing to the Panthers earlier in the season. James, I think this is a great matchup right here.
I agree with that. I think this is going to be another one that goes right down to the wire, maybe one of the best games in the state this week. So I think with Leeds picking up that big win they had against Moody a couple weeks ago, I think they're building some momentum for the postseason at just the right time, and I like Leeds to be able to win tonight.
All right, I'll go with the Green Wave with you as well just because of the home field. All right, next up, boy, this is another big one. Fife at Sylvania, powerhouse in 2A, multi-time defending state champion, a team in 3A that a lot of people think could come out of the north to pick up the W in this in the state championship battle coming up later and start next Friday.
This may be another one of those games you circle as far as state of Alabama. We may be seeing both of these teams down in Tuscaloosa in December.
I don't know. Man, I tell you what, it's hard to pick against Paul Benefield. That's all I can say. That's a tough pick right there. But I'll go with Fife to do the upset. And here's a game we've normally at the last Friday in the regular season. We've been there for the past 2 seasons. Southside at Etowah. The Panthers need a win. Boy, would Etowah love to do an upset.
Oh, you're right. This would make Etowah's season. I think Southside certainly has to be ready emotionally coming off of a tough loss at Moody last week. But Southside has a lot on the line as far as also having some good vibes going into postseason play. So I like Southside to get the win tonight.
Go with the Panthers. I think it's their night to pick up the W as well. I agree with you. So we're both going with Southside, and that gets us to the biggest one of the night for us right here where we are, and it's not that one. It's Weaver and Pleasant Valley here on the FNN Network. Game of the week Thursday night.
Regular season matchup tomorrow, but there you see the captains for Pleasant Valley. They'll be making their way to midfield here in just a moment. Braxton Salster, the quarterback. Actually, he'll have a lot of high school football ahead of him. One of 13 freshmen for Coach Jonathan Nix this season. Also, Clark Hill, the junior, will be seeing a place kicker tonight. And also on defense, Andre Luster playing his first season football. One of the team captains, and then Hunter Sparks, one of the top athletes, especially on the perimeter offensively for Pleasant Valley. As there you see Pleasant Valley and Weaver make their way to midfield. Gabe King, Christian Martorello, Dante Durant, the captains for Weaver, and we'll send it down to midfield for referee David Cadle and our captains meeting and the toss of the coin.
The officials, congratulations on being captains. Week 10, big game. Everybody's going to play clean. It's the team you're going to play. I got a tails. He said, tails, Mr. If I drop it, we do it again. It's heads. On defer. On defer. All right, stand real still. Home team's won the toss and defer. You want the football. Defend the scoreboard like you said. You Go right over here with him. Right here with me. So the home team toss the third division.
And there you heard David Cadle, our AHS a referee who we actually had on about, I think, 3 weeks ago on the FNN Connect their way onto Raider Stadium. Pleasant Valley, with a win tonight, can secure their first above 500 record as far as the 9-year tenure for Coach Jonathan Nix. And for Weaver, they want to at least close 2023 on a positive note. And we mentioned earlier in our countdown to kickoff for Weaver, you look at their losses so far this year: 24-20 at Glencoe, 26-20 at Dadeville, 42-29 against Childersburg, 49-26 at Randolph County, 48-27 at Walter Wellborn, and 38-31 last week on their senior night against Beulah. return for Pleasant Valley as they'll die around the 26-yard line. Bentley crisscrosses, or check that, Sparks crisscrosses, Jayden Sparks that is, and advances the football to the 34-yard line. That kickoff actually back around the 25 due to the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for Weaver after Keyshawn Allen's touchdown. So very interested to see as far as the confidence level for the Pleasant Valley offense, especially after they had a really good drive going, but the ball punched out of Salster's hands, that is, into the end zone for what resulted in a turnover. Give goes to Clark Hill. Bounces off the right side, cuts it up the middle, and will have the first down across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Good patient running that time by Clark Hill in his second carry of the night, so that's going to be yet another first down carry. Hooligan Harley Davidson with that first down run from Clark Hill. And we'll have a timeout on the field, and let's take the timeout with them. You're watching the FNN High School Football Game of the Week with Weaver winning 12-0.
'" The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Three minutes, 37 seconds remain in the opening quarter. And Weaver has punched the first two scores on the board on their first two drives of the game. And before that snap, we have a flag on the play. So David Cadle will remind us here who the penalty is on.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense. 5 yards, still first down.
David Cadle, one of the top officials in the state of Alabama, tells you that's a false start on the Pleasant Valley Raiders. It'll be a first down and 15 from the 41. It'll be the keeper for Salster as he's spun around and taken down in the backfield. Gabe King from his outside linebacking spot on the tackle for loss. And, in fact, looking at the rest of the Weaver defense, thanks to Congressman Mike Rogers, you'll have Richard Knowlton and Zach Hooks as the inside linebackers, Caden Thornton, the outside linebacker, and Caden Gooden and Keyshawn Allen, your corners for Weaver. An athletic defense, but also certainly a defense that needs to improve for 2024, as they're showing some signs here in the final game of the regular season. Play action. Salster under pressure, and he's going down. There you see four players around the ball, Gabe King and DJ Welsh, a couple of those that help out on the sack. That's been a big point of emphasis not only for next year but for tonight for Coach Ken Kofer, is improving his defense, and one of those ways is get multiple players around the ball like you just saw on that last sack. Approaching the 2-minute, 20-second mark here in the opening quarter. Third down and very long to go. Third down and almost Piedmont to go with the line to reach for the first down at the Weaver 44. And we'll have the play clock go down to 0, and I think that may be a delay of game. And indeed a delay of game. David Cadle, our referee, officially indicating a delay of game as the play clock went down to 0, so that's going to mean 3rd down and 28. I know just having, as far as Coach Eddie Bullock my ear, what he would say, draws or screens for this 3rd and super long. Here's a fade pattern down the field, and that is incomplete. Holt Bentley had gotten behind his man. I believe that was either Allen. I think Allen was the man in coverage for Weaver. And so it'll be a 3-and-out for the Weaver defense. So Weaver, especially on the first drive defensively for them, gave up some yards, but they played solid defensively here in the first quarter. And so that's going to mean punting time, as Weaver will be ready for the punt return. Caden Thornton, the man deep. Braxton Salster on the punt for Pleasant Valley, as that ball will be downed around the 42-yard line. So still in Weaver territory. So 1st down and 10 as we're late in the opening quarter. We appreciate you for joining us here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week. FNN Bank provides you our coverage each and every week here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week. As there is a flag on the play. And so they say it was running into the kicker on Weaver, which the penalty declined. So no harm, no foul for anyone out there as far as that special teams penalty. So still very good field position for Weaver. They'll officially at their own 43-yard line. So Weaver will send 4 players out to the far side, and we'll have a whistle and a stoppage on the play. Don't see a flag on the field. Not exactly sure what triggered David Cadle and our crew of Zebras to blow the play dead. So the officials still discussing things. A reminder for you out there, however, that tomorrow we'll close out our regular season coverage here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week. We'll be making the trip about another 40 minutes north of here. Maybe a little less than that, actually, up to Center, Alabama. Cherokee County hosts Fort Payne for the final regular season game and the final tune-up for the postseason for both of those teams. Cherokee County still undefeated on the season, and here's the quick throw. That is complete to the far side to Allen as he zigzags through the defense, and he's still on his feet, and he goes out of bounds into Pleasant Valley territory, close to the 30-yard line. Just a simple bubble screen passes. We'll take a second look at that completion from Gooden over to Keyshawn Allen, who's already had an 80-yard touchdown this evening. And there you see him using his blockers and advance it inside the 30 to the 28. And Weaver wanted to go quickly, but we have a flag on the play. That was a hooligan Harley-Davidson first down.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Armbruster Plumbing also gave you that second look and a big first down, at least jaunt, after receiving the pass by Keyshawn Allen. So Allen well over 100 total yards on his 80-yard touchdown for the second Weaver touchdown of this first quarter. 5-yard penalty brings it back to the 34-yard line. So that was a gain of 38 for Allen, as King doesn't get very much, if anything, as the ball goes back to the quarterback in Gooden as he finds some running room and a lot more as he gets deep into Pleasant Valley territory, as he's still on his feet close to the goal line as they just blow the play dead, but I think they're going to mark the football back at the 5-yard line. I'd like to see that second look again, because I think that ball went initially to King, and he may have lateraled it back to Caden Gooden, who alertly took it down the right side and was able to get a first down and another red zone opportunity for Weaver. An on-time fashions red zone opportunity. We approach the 1-minute mark here in the opening quarter. It'll be a 1st and goal. It'll be the give up the middle. And it'll be a reserve running back coming into the ball game for Weaver in Martorello. Christian Martorello on the carry as he's able to advance to the 5-yard line. So a gain of about 3 that time on the play. That's a touchdown for Martorello. There's a low snap as Gooden throws it up for grabs, and it goes incomplete. So we'll take the timeout. As Weaver playing one of their best games of the season, certainly one of their best starts so far, up 18-0 here in the first quarter on the FNN Game of the Week.
School spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite.
Nobody